The laughter hit first. Sharp, wet, like knives dropped into crystal glasses. My brother leaned back in his chair, wine staining his teeth, confidence spilling out of him like something inherited, not earned. "I hope I never end up like him," he said, nodding toward me. "Poor, no job, no kid, and his wife's the breadwinner." The room burst open. My uncle followed, right on cue. "Women don't want useless husbands." Even my mother laughed, a small sound, like a door closing. I sat still, hands folded, breathing measured. I'd learned long ago that reacting gives people permission. Silence makes them nervous. I watched the bride. She hadn't laughed. Her fingers tightened around her glass, knuckles white, eyes not on him, but on me. She stood. The scrape of her chair cut through the noise. She walked toward my end of the table, each step deliberate, heavy with something unsaid. "I think," she said softly, "they should know something." The room collapsed into silence. I felt it then, that familiar calm, the kind that comes when the storm finally chooses a direction. I already knew this moment would come, just not like this. The betrayal hadn't started tonight. Tonight was only the ceremony. It began months ago, with a message sent to the wrong number, a photo, a man's hand on a woman's stomach, a caption, "He doesn't know yet." The hand was my brother's. I recognized the scar on his thumb. I didn't reply, didn't confront. I never do. I watched instead. The late nights, the cash withdrawals, the sudden generosity toward everyone except his fiancée. He'd always been good at performance. Golden child, future father, family man. And me? The failure. What they didn't know was how carefully that image was financed. By me, by my wife, by the breadwinner they mocked. Every loan he never repaid, every temporary help, every silent transfer. I had receipts, dates, proof. But betrayal isn't loud when it enters your life. It whispers, it waits. And tonight, it had finally stood up. I didn't stop him, didn't warn her. I let the truth ripen. I pulled phone records, crossed dates with hotel stays, compared timelines with ultrasound appointments. I found the lease, a small apartment across town, paid in cash. I learned the child wasn't a mistake, it was a plan, a second life, a younger woman, someone who didn't ask questions. I watched my brother rehearse lies at family dinners, watched him build a future on other people's backs. I stayed quiet. Silence is strategic. It makes people underestimate you. My wife asked once why I kept smiling around him. "Because," I told her, "he thinks he's winning." The night before the engagement dinner, I printed everything, placed it in a simple black folder. I didn't bring it tonight. I didn't need to, because I knew, sooner or later, someone else would break. The bride didn't look at him when she spoke. "He has another apartment," she said, "and another woman." A breath left the room. "She's pregnant." My brother stood up so fast his chair fell backward. "That's not—" His voice cracked. The bride turned to me. "He knew you'd stay quiet," she said. "He said you always do." I met her eyes. "Yes," I said, "I do." She pulled out her phone, played a recording. His voice filled the room, casual, cruel. "Don't worry, my family already thinks he's nothing." My mother covered her mouth. My uncle stared at the table. I stayed seated. My brother looked at me then, really looked, panic finally reaching his eyes. "You knew?" he whispered. I stood, slowly. "I knew before you proposed," I said, "before you laughed." I pulled out my phone, displayed the transfers, the dates, the amounts. "Your apartment," I continued calmly, "is paid for by me. Your engagement ring, also me." I turned to the bride. "I'm sorry," I said. "He needed someone to fund his lies." She nodded once. Tears stayed where they were. I faced my brother. "Consider this," I said, "my resignation." I walked out as he collapsed into noise, apologies, excuses, regret, none of it reached me. Outside, the night air was clean, cold, honest. I didn't feel victorious, just lighter. Some people lose their power when exposed. Others lose it when ignored. I got into my car, didn't look back. Let them rebuild their stories without me. I had already rewritten mine, silently, completely.